Hello and welcome to the big picture. Millions of workers across the country have gone on a 24-hour strike led by 10 central trade unions today. The strike has hit many parts of the country and has affected services in the road transport, banking, services, as well as rail transport. The strike has been called to protest against some of the economic and labor policies of the NDA government. The government and central trade unions have been holding several rounds of talks in the last 2 months to avert the strike. However, all the trade unions except the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh decided to go ahead with the strike, expressing dissatisfaction with what the government had to offer. The BMS, which had led the strike call, however, withdrew, expressing satisfaction at the progress of the talks with the government. The trade unions have put forward a 12-point charter of demands, which includes, among other things, opposition to FDI in railways, insurance and defence, and stoppage of disinvestment in central and state PSUs, apart from immediate issues concerning the workers like minimum wages. The government has said that it is agreeable to some of the demands. We will today look at why this strike had to happen and what kind of assurances the government has given. To discuss this, I have with me Pawan Kumar, Zonal Organizing Secretary, Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, Nilotpal Basu, Central Committee Member, CPIM, Amarjeet Kaur, National Secretary, AITUC, Dr.Praveen, Professor at the Center for Economic Studies and Planning, JNU. Welcome to all of you. Nilotpal, the government and the trade unions have been at, discussing these issues, have held several rounds of talks in the last 2 months. And some of the demands which among the 12-point charter which you people have placed have been accepted by the government, and they needed some more time to implement some of the others. Why is it that the trade unions have decided to go ahead and organize this strike?
I think it will be a travesty of truth to say that the government has accepted some of the demands. You see, in the
Labour Minister in an interview said that 9 of the 12 demands are acceptable.
That is, I was using a polite language, not using the language which should actually describe this. For example, one demand, minimum wage not less than 15,000. Now, this was something where the formula how to arrive at it was decided as early as by the 15th Indian Labour Conference, and it has been reiterated in the 46th Labour Conference held this year. Now, according to that, the minimum wage works out to be around 20,000. Trade unions asked for not less than 15,000. The government was only prepared to concede 7,100. And if that makes the government to claim that they have considered that demand, then so be it. On the question of contractual workers' wage. Now, the Contract Labour Act clearly says that they will have equal wage as other regular employees, but they were not prepared to concede. So like that on all the issues, not a single demand has been categorically accepted by the government. And over and above that, what has happened? The situation has worsened over the last 1.5 years, and the government is bringing about drastic changes in different labor-related acts, and so as to take away the trade union legal safeguards which was available to 70% of the workers by increasing the number of workers, who can actually claim some of these, and also drastic changes in the Apprenticeship Act and so on and so forth. So I think there was no meeting ground, and the government was under the belief that they can do anything and everything as they thought about the land acquisition.
So you're saying that there was no meeting. No, you're saying that there was no meeting ground. Pawan Kumar ji, if I remember correctly, you have been here in the studio. We have discussed these issues in the past also. Now, all the other trade unions, because I remember Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh was leading this, this movement, and but now why did you people withdraw? Mr. Basu says that none of the demands which the government says it will fulfill are acceptable. Is it acceptable to you what the government is saying?
पिछले रिजीम में 2010, 11, 12, 13 11, 12, 13 में 3 हड़तालें हुई। 11 में सितंबर में हड़ताल हुई जिसमें हम नहीं थे। 12 में 1 दिन की हड़ताल हुई। 13 में 2 दिन की हड़ताल हुई। 13 में 2 दिन की हड़ताल 20-21 फरवरी को हुई तो सरकार ने 18 फरवरी को ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स बनाया।
ये यूपीए गवर्नमेंट की बात
यूपीए
कर रहे हैं।
गवर्नमेंट ने, और उन्होंने कहा कि हम आपकी बात पर सोचेंगे, विचारेंगे। हड़ताल हो गई 12 की भी, 13 की भी, 11 की भी। सरकार ने बैठकर ना बातचीत की, ना किसी मुद्दे पर कोई प्रपोजल लेकर आई सरकार। इस सरकार के सामने भी हम लोगों ने संयुक्त रूप से जून 14 में प्रस्ताव किया, सरकार से वार्ता की। सरकार ने, जब हम आगे बढ़े, धरना प्रदर्शन, जेल भरो, सरकार ने 24 मई को ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर के नाम एक समिति बनाई अरुण जेटली जी के द्वारा के नेतृत्व में। उस समिति ने कॉन्क्रीट प्रपोजल लेकर के आई। उन्होंने कहा कि आप विचार करिए, हम आपके सामने प्रपोजल रखते हैं। मिनिमम वेज के मामले में सरकार ने पहली बार ये कहा कि अक्रॉस द विदाउट शेड्यूल एम्प्लॉयमेंट अक्रॉस द कंट्री, चाहे किसी उद्योग में एक भी मजदूर काम करता होगा, हम उसके लिए मिनिमम वेज की व्यवस्था करेंगे। सरकार ने कहा कि हम मैंडेटरी करेंगे नेशनल लेवल मिनिमम वेज, नेशनल मिनिमम वेज को मैंडेटरी करेंगे। ये एक बड़ा जोरदार मामला है। ये मामला पार्लियामेंट में आएगा। उसमें हम भी ये देखना चाहेंगे कि जब पार्लियामेंट में मैंडेटरी करने का बिल लेकर आएगी सरकार, तो हमारे मित्र बिल के साथ खड़े होंगे कि बिल के विरोध में खड़े होंगे, ये एक देखने का विषय आएगा।
वो ठीक है, नहीं वो ठीक है, वो बाद में देखा जाएगा। लेकिन
दो बात जो कहना चाहता हूँ, सरकार मिनिमम वेज पर आगे बढ़ी। अभी मेरे पास जो फिगर है,
सरकार ने जो मिनिमम वेजेस बताया 7,000 अनस्किल्ड वर्कर्स के लिए 7,100 to 10,000 और स्किल्ड वर्कर्स के लिए 14,200 to 20,000। ये आपके लिए, आप समझते हैं कि ये ठीक है?
नहीं, ये इस पर नेगोशिएशन और हो सकती है और करनी है। किंतु पहली बार सरकार, जिस नागालैंड के वर्कर को आज 2,000 रुपया मिलता है, 2,080 रुपया।
नागालैंड के वर्कर कौन होते हैं?
नागालैंड में काम करने वाला मजदूर, उसको 2,080 रुपया मिलता है। अगर सरकार उसके लिए 7100 का प्रपोजल लेकर आती है, मणिपुर में काम करने वाले मजदूर को 2,912 रुपये मिलते हैं, उसके लिए 7100 का प्रपोजल लेकर आई, वो भी नेगोशिएबल है। तो मैं नहीं समझता, नेगोशिएबल होना ही चाहिए।
ठीक है, आपको लगता है कि एज फार एज मिनिमम वेज इज कंसर्न, यू आर
नॉट ओनली मिनिमम वेज,
व्हाट आर द अदर्स?
जैसे गवर्नमेंट पहली बार ये कह रही है कि स्कीम वर्कर्स को, खासकर आंगनबाड़ी, मिड डे मील, आशा वर्कर्स के लिए हम सोशल सिक्योरिटी स्कीम लाएंगे। मेडिकल स्कीम के लिए सरकार
और 1,000 से 2,000 कर देंगे।
वेजेस के मामले में भी नहीं बोली सरकार, वेजेस क्या बढ़ाएंगे और क्या नहीं बढ़ाएंगे, सरकार नहीं बोली है। किंतु सोशल सिक्योरिटी देंगे। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्कर के बारे में बात की सरकार ने, बोनस के बारे में बात की सरकार ने, अनेक सारे मुद्दों पर कंक्रीट प्रपोजल लेकर के सरकार आई। वो नेगोशिएबल हो सकते हैं, कम ज़्यादा की बात हो सकती है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा। किंतु पहली बार सरकार अगर आगे बढ़ी है तो मुझे लगता है कि हमको बातचीत के रास्ते पे जाना चाहिए, ना कि हड़ताल के रास्ते पे। इसलिए हम
Amarjeet Kaur, you know, he has placed these points and he thinks that, you know, you should have given the government some more time. Don't you think that the government deserved a little more time to work out some of these things?
First thing which I want to say on the issues of policy, the government clearly said to us on both the days that these are policy matters. We are totally in variance with you.
Which are these policy matters?
For example,
you're talking about the
on
FDI.
FDI they said they justified. So opposed to
FDI
us. Disinvestment, they said
FDI in railways, insurance
defense and insurance, they defended. Even today, it was being defended on FM radio. I was listening in the morning. Disinvestment, they said it is necessary for the country. On price rise, jokingly, we said, we don't know how you say. They said price rise is going down. We said every day TV is telling us how much is the price of essential commodities. On employment generation, they only talked of Make India, Skill India, Digital India, but they did not answer when we said 65 lakh of the sanctioned posts in government departments are lying vacant. You fill them up. You begin from there, we will realize that you are serious on employment generation. On these policy matters, they straight away denied our position. Then you come to the other issues. On minimum wages, Government need not wait. It is 15th ILC highest body. ILC is the highest body. It is our workers' Sansad in a way, where this has been agreed upon, and Supreme Court in Raptako's case has already given 25% additional on that. So working on that was 20,000. If they say you need some more time, we are asking 15,000 for everybody, Manipur or Nagaland or India's any worker. We are asking for everybody. We are not saying that if it is 3,000 somewhere, 2,900, they should be brought to 7,100 and others should be left. We are saying 15,000 should be the benchmark, because 20,000 if we work on today on that formula. So we are already taking from 3 years before what was there. So there is no need for government to wait. As far as statutory is concerned, that is a matter of future they can bring. They could have declared, if not 15,000, 13,000, 12,000, something they should have declared. But in Delhi, it is 9,200 and they are saying 7,100. Delhi workers are angry. Why you want to reduce our wage? If
no,
you
it is 7,100 to 10,000.
Yeah.
So it could
if
be.
If you take off contract labor, no need for government to wait, because Contract Labor Act in Section 10 is telling regularization of all those jobs which are of perennial nature and equal wage to them. So we were demanding only implementation of that act. And 25(5) rule also talks of those who are not in perennial nature, even for them, the minimum wages to be guaranteed. What has government given as formula? We will guarantee minimum wages. It is already there in the act. We are demanding implement that act and see to it that perennial. The third thing which government is claiming, pension law. Pension was agreed upon by previous government, and cabinet cleared it, notification was not done, elections came, so this government has a credit of notifying it. But when we said we had demanded 3,000, you gave us interim and now you make it 3,000 for all. They immediately, finance minister said, no, we are talking of only those who are covered under EPS. Our demand is pension to all. They are talking of EPS covered, that means about 5 crore or 7 crore people. So we are asking for everybody. Scheme worker, you need not go to parliament. ILC has said they should be recognized as workers, minimum wages should be given to them. But they are supposed to only implement it. No need for going to parliament. Several of the issues you don't need to go to parliament. You can straight away do it. But we were told we will have to consult the stakeholder. Mind it, I am telling you. Even on this 7,100, they said it. It is very clearly written in the letter of Labour Minister which we received. For these things also, we will have to talk to stakeholders.
Stakeholders.
Even that is not clear.
Stakeholders will include the private.
And today's strike shows how much anger is there in the workers.
Pawan ji, if you want to react immediately, quickly, otherwise I'll.
ये जो बता रहे हैं कि कहा कि स्टेक होल्डर से ये इस चिट्ठी, मेरे पास ये चिट्ठी है मंत्री जी की, हमको भी मिली है चिट्ठी, इसमें कहीं लिखा नहीं गया ये सरकार जो करना चाहती है। और अभी जो डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट और बाकी सब बातें कही एफडीआई, आपने भी कहा रेलवे में आज 1% भी हड़ताल नहीं थी, यहाँ तक कि रेलवे की बड़ी यूनियनों ने हड़ताल की नोटिस ही नहीं दी थी। उन्होंने अपनी हड़ताल 23 नवंबर को,
वो अलग से उसके लिए हड़ताल में जा रहे हैं।
कुछ जगहों पे रेलवे अफेक्ट हुआ है करके मैंने बताया।
इसलिए the issue is they are having a separate strike.
They are having separate strike.
Okay, let's not get into that.
जैसे अमरजीत बता रही थी,
वो
दिल्ली का मिनिमम वेज 9,000 से 7,000 हो जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा क्योंकि आपने ही बताया 7100 से 10,000।
वो ठीक है,
3 कैटेगरी बनी।
वो छोड़ दीजिए। मेजर इश्यूज जो है, क्योंकि जो पॉलिसी इशू है जिसके बारे में आप लोग भी बहुत सारे दिन से इसके बारे में बात कर रहे थे, जो व्हाट अबाउट एफडीआई एंड अबाउट प्राइवेटाइजेशन एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, you think that government should be given more time, or you think the government is accepting?
हमने सब विचार करने के बाद हमको लगता है कि गवर्नमेंट कुछ जब वर्कर को मिलेगा तो वर्कर में और लड़ने की ताकत आएगी, इसलिए उसको थोड़ा टाइम देकर के आगे जाना,
ताकत के लिए इंतजार करेंगे। ओके, प्रवीण जी, Praveen, this whole thing is not just about labor union, labor strike. It's not a trade union strike, but if you look at the demands being made, if you look at the demands being made by the PSUs, by the insurance, this is a larger issue of economic policies. So you know, so this could go into different directions actually.
Yes, sure. I mean, at the root of it, it is connected with an alternative macroeconomic policy regime or alternative macro vision and so on.
Right.
And that is where I think a lot of care needs to be taken in any conversation when we say whether some progress has been made or not made, etc.
Yes.
It's quite clear that fundamentally there is an acceleration of what many of us describe as a neoliberal economic policy regime in the last 15 months or so. There are no two ways about it. That reflects very powerfully with respect to the labor domain, as you know, where 44 central laws and large number of state laws are being reduced to a number of labor codes, etc. All these are well known, so I'll not go into the details. But fundamentally, we find that very, very significant acceleration, not only with reference to anything which has to do with labor, but in general, a neoliberal push to every aspect of the economy. And some of the policy issues that you mentioned already, whether it's FDI, whether it is disinvestment and so on and so forth, we have seen that there has been a fantastic acceleration in those areas. That's the first point which I'd like to make. Second, I think it's quite clear that in terms of any significant even commitment, the government has not moved an inch in terms of giving anything to the unions.
As far as this 12-point charter is
Absolutely,
concerned?
absolutely. There has been some talk, sure enough, but then talks have been going on all through, right? And based on what was said in Press Information Bureau on 27th, which is the last and the latest document, you can easily make out for yourself that in terms of any concrete movement, nothing has been there. Assurances have been given, sure enough, that we will talk about contract workers, we will talk about security and so on and so forth. But that is neither here nor there.
The minister has clearly said that there is a forward. They're about to fulfill 9 of the 12 demands.
It's simply a matter of.
I think just if you give me 1 minute, one demand out of this 12 point is that immediately stop initiating all these new amendments to labor laws. Now, Pawanji was saying that how sympathetic the new government is towards the case of the workers. Now, this demand is a fresh demand, and this demand has been necessitated by the kind of labor reforms this government has initiated. And therefore, without considering earlier demands, they are adding up new issues.
Nilotpal, let Praveen, yes, please
Yes.
finish.
So basically, if we go, point by point, we can see that apart from some assurances, there is nothing which is concrete in terms of what has been told to the unions. So if the minister is making this claim, I would say that we need to maybe not only take it with a pinch of salt, but maybe with ladles of salt.
Okay. Pawanji, would you like to react? All of them are saying that they are not. आपको लगता है कि जो promise किया गया है वो अभी उसका कोई time frame है?
देखिए, अभी मंत्री जी ने
He is saying that 9 out of 12 demands we are about to fulfill. Has he given any time frame for
नहीं,
you?
अभी
Are you people willing to?
मंत्री जी ने कोई टाइम फ्रेम दिया है ऐसा मेरा नहीं कहना. इसमें चिट्ठी में भी लिखकर नहीं दिया है कि हम 10 दिन में करेंगे या 15 दिन में करेंगे, ये मेरा कहना नहीं है. किंतु जिस बात को नीलोपल कह रहे थे या बहन अमरजीत कह रही थी, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वर्कर, ये वास्तव में महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दा है. किंतु मेरा मानना ये है, जहां आप सरकार में रहे, कानून तो वहां भी वही है. आज त्रिपुरा में वही कानून स्टैंड करता है. क्या हम उस कानून को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए एक कदम भी आगे बढ़ते हैं क्या? पॉलिटिकली बात करना, वो एक, मैंने पहले कहा कि ये जो हड़ताल है भारतीय मजदूर संघ की निगाह में वर्कर के मुद्दों पर नहीं है. इट इज नॉट फॉर द लेबर इशू, इट इज फॉर द लेबर पॉलिटिक्स.
So you think
हमारी
it's for labor
आपत्ति
politics?
इस पर है
One
कि
second.
हम इशूज पर बात करें.
No, but Mr. Pawanji, there is a feeling among certain sections of the trade unionists, your own colleagues, that the BMS has succumbed to pressure from the government because you belong to the same parivar, and that's why you have succumbed to because otherwise you people were one of the most staunchest demanders of this kind of.
दो घटनाएं बताता हूं. हम 11 में भी इस हड़ताल में नहीं थे, ध्यान रखना. 2011 में भी, और कोयला की हड़ताल में अभी 4 महीने पहले, 6 महीने पहले हम आगे खड़े थे. कोयला की हड़ताल में जहां सीटू के साथी ना नोटिस देने में उस पर सिग्नेचर किए थे स्ट्राइक नोटिस पर, और ना उन्होंने एग्रीमेंट पर साइन किया। एग्रीमेंट में आए थे, बैठे थे, गवर्नमेंट की सारी फैसिलिटी अवेल की थी। उन्होंने कहा क्योंकि हमने नोटिस नहीं दिया इसलिए हम साइन नहीं करेंगे।
तो इस मतलब
हम 4
क्या?
संगठनों ने,
मतलब क्या?
एटक के साथी,
मतलब
इंटक के साथी, HMS के साथी और हम सब ने उस पर बातचीत करके एग्रीमेंट साइन किया।
मतलब
अगर हम प्रेशर में होते तो कोयला की हड़ताल में भी नहीं जाते।
अच्छा, प्रेशर पे नहीं है, दैट्स व्हाट यू आर सेइंग।
हम कोई प्रेशर में नहीं है।
अच्छा, यस।
देखिए, आई एम वेरी क्लियर, इट्स नॉट द ट्रेड यूनियंस हु आर डूइंग एनी पॉलिटिक्स. They are part and parcel of the 10-point charter of demand. Other 10 trade unions have not added anything new. They are part and parcel of the 12-point charter of demand, 2 points which got added after Narendra Modi ji took power. And in that, this labor law reforms is a serious issue. Okay, it is our strike.
No, 1 second. The 2 points which were added were what? The FDI
and labor laws. Labor laws. And on labor laws, they were speaking much more revolutionary even than us. They were leading, there is no doubt about it. And in Rajasthan, BMS was the first to come out on strike. Then other unions came along with them and the agitation happened. It is claim of BMS and which is true claim. So this labor law reforms is a very serious issue which became a very clicking point. 3 issues became clicking point.
I think his colleague was here when I discussed the labor law reforms, and he was very, vehement about it.
So what I want to say is, withdrawal from strike could be a politics, but going into strike is not politics because all of us were on this 12-point charter of demand. Now on this labor law reforms, I want to say, I don't want to compare previous government, this government. That was also for macroeconomic policies or new liberal economic model, as Jaji was saying. This government is following that process more aggressively. But this government, that government, because of our agitation where BMS was very dear part of us, they was not moving on labor reforms. They also wanted to do. We are not against reforms, neither we are against codification. But we want the trade unions to be consulted so that it doesn't become an anti-labor thing and the most of the industry doesn't go out of the protection of labor laws, or most of the workers don't go out of the protection of the labor laws. So labor law reforms initiated in Rajasthan within less than 1 month, then passed by the cabinet, approved, president gives assent, then in July, after taking power in May, in July, 3 laws are introduced in parliament. 1 is even passed. In all this process, neither trade unions were consulted in Rajasthan nor at central level. When we started asserting more and more, and at that particular stage, they said, okay, we will have tripartite consultation. But what did they do? They did not discuss with us. They prepare certain things and put on the platter before us and said, isme full stop, comma, kaun sa kam karna hai. That's not the way. Labor law reforms, we said, okay, if you agree on 2 things or 3 things, we will withdraw the strike. We were saying minimum wage is as per formula, 20,000, you give us 15,000. On contract labor said, honestly implement what is there in the Contract Labor Act, and we are not demanding much more. We are not demanding much.
So you're
and
saying,
on this labor law reforms, we were very clear, you declare moratorium, stop all the changes which you have brought. You sent a letter from Prime Minister's office to ask every state to implement Rajasthan model. So now you send a letter to every state, stop it, halt it.
That was your
they
minimum
did not
demands?
agree.
Those were the
this
minimum
was
demands?
major demand on
Those
3
were the
of
minimum
this.
demands which you had?
These 3 minimum, we said, do you minimum wages, Contract Labor Act, and this labor law reform.
Okay.
We said, okay, on policy matter, you don't agree with us. We also understand, we will argue.
Okay.
And there was a proposal by Bajnath Rai ji. Constitute a committee on this macro politics. We have differences with you. We will talk to it. BMS president said there was no reply from government. Not even in the press conference which they had, and on 28th the government had a press conference on 30th. Even in that note, or on 27th they sent a letter to us on 28th. They took signatures. The department people came to the joint meeting which we were holding in INTUC office. BMS was present, handed over to us. If you look at that, it is clearly written in last but 1 para. For all these things, we need to consult stakeholders and we need time.
Okay.
So whatever promised was also not on the table.
Okay. Nilotpal, this is one thing which has been noticed is that the government has held several rounds of talks And, as Amarjeet Kaur has pointed out, there has been, now there doesn't seem to be a meeting ground. So what is the future? What is the step forward now?
The government has to take the message from today's strike, which
Yes.
has been unprecedented. We also never expected that this kind of anger is there. Because you see, the people, the workers voted also in 2014 election to have change about the policies about which Pawanji is complaining. And I think all of us had similar complaint and they wanted to see the change. And when they see an adverse change, they have reacted in the manner that they have done. Therefore, I think these 3 points should be the starting point to restore the confidence between the government and the trade unions.
Okay.
That even though strike has taken place, these are the
We
3
want to
points.
talk. We want to be on the
government
negotiation
seems to be
table.
willing to
you
talk
see,
still.
As Amarjeet ji has correctly pointed out, that this is not a political battle but a trade union battle on certain issues which concerns not that if there are gains, those who are affiliated to BMS, they will not get a benefit out of it. Or if it happens, somebody from the left will not get benefit out of it. So I think the government should take the lessons and not be obstinate as it was during the land acquisition process. So I think they have to be flexible, they have to understand there is lot of pent-up emotions among the workers, because if you say that there is no price rise, I mean, and BMS defends that position of the
Again, it is
minister,
claimed.
I think it is in for big trouble among the workers
Pawan ji.
themselves.
क्या अब आगे क्या होगा?
बातचीत होगी.
And is it not unfortunate that this unity of the trade unions which has existed for so long is broken now?
नहीं हमारे
Are you
मित्रों-
not? Are you?
नहीं नॉट ब्रोकन, किंतु हमारे मित्रों को भी इस बात पर विचार करना है कि यूनिटी चलेगी कैसे. यूनिटी डिक्टेशन से नहीं चलती, यूनिटी के तरीके से चलती है. भारतीय मजदूर संघ यूनिटी के साथ है, किंतु यूनिटी के साथ चलेगी. और अगर हम ऑनेस्टली मुद्दों पर बात नहीं करेंगे, और मैं
नहीं,
किसी
ये
का
सब मुद्दे पे भी
हम किसी का नाम नहीं लेना चाहते.
नहीं, whatever issues she raised were all
Definitely.
issues which you
जब-
people were also involved in.
मेरा निवेदन क्या है, जब सरकार एक प्रपोजल लेकर आती है तो उस प्रपोजल पर, जैसे आपने भी कहा, 15 नहीं तो 13 नहीं तो 12, कहीं सरकार हम भी बढ़े क्या. मेरा निवेदन क्या है, अमरजीत कौर ने भी इस जिंदगी में सैकड़ों नेगोशिएशन की होगी. ये कभी होता नहीं कि मैंने 15 कहा तो एम्प्लॉयर 15, आपने तुरंत कहा कि 12. हम आगे बढ़ते हैं.
आगे क्या होगा?
3 मांग बोल रहे हैं ना.
नीलोत्पल छोड़ दो.
हम
नीलोत्पल,
आगे
please.
बढ़ेंगे.
आगे बढ़ेंगे.
रिफॉर्म्स पे तो
नहीं,
ये हमसे
और
ज्यादा
लेबर लॉ
educated
रिफॉर्म
है.
की जहां तक बात है,
लेबर लॉ रिफॉर्म्स के बारे में
भारतीय मजदूर संघ
Contract
कोडिफिकेशन
worker में भी
के
बताइए आप तो
कोडिफिकेशन के
हमसे
खिलाफ
ज्यादा
नहीं.
इसको कोई नहीं है कोडिफिकेशन की.
कोडिफिकेशन के हम खिलाफ नहीं.
कोडिफिकेशन के खिलाफ कोई भी खिलाफ भी नहीं है.
उसके अंदर क्या लिखा जाता है, अगर जो
Okay.
आज राइट है,
Right, sir.
वो जाने नहीं चाहिए, उसे बेटर होने चाहिए.
Okay.
तब हमारा मुद्दा है.
और
Okay.
वो कोडिफिकेशन जो ला रहे हैं, वो
Praveen,
सारे लॉज के
Praveen,
राइट्स
last
को
words
खत्म
to
कर
you.
रहे हैं, जिस
You
टाइप का
think
कोडिफिकेशन ला रहे हैं.
that the unity of the trade unions, which has been obviously broken, will be helpful to the government to go ahead with some of the things, and some of the, and we need to, and you think we need to wait and see if the government is really, is going to fulfill some of the demands which it is promising.
Firstly, it has not put any concrete proposals to the unions which it can fulfill. It has given some vague assurances. So that is something which we should realize. And in that sense, if Pawanji is saying कि कुछ ठोस चीजें हमें मिली हैं, दुर्भाग्य से वो नहीं मिली हैं. So that's the first point I'd like to make.
Quickly.
As regards the unity, I think that certainly has been endangered very seriously in the short run. Now, how does government respond to what, as Mr. Basu said, this unprecedented show of strength by workers? In the medium to longer run, it would be dependent on that.
Okay, I think on that note we need to end. As Praveen rightly put it, we'll have to wait and see how the government will respond to this strike which has happened today. We'll wait and watch for the response. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue in the big picture same time tomorrow.